Unedited. I need you guys to come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. This is live uncut, unedited. We need you guys to come in. This is a spinoff on what we did yesterday. Just come on in, people. Just come on in and enjoy. And it's going to be a teaching moment too, as well. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Look at they laughing. All right, isn't that funny, guys? So tonight it's going to be very interesting because we're going to bring proof. A lot of times, once we say something that somebody said, we're going to we got some of the audio. We have some of the audio of last night meeting with some of the ministers on 1716 South Independence at that church. What's that, Greater Rock? I think it's Greater Rock something, Baptist Church. So we're going to just come on in, people. Make sure you share the video. Share the video. And make sure you guys also tag someone. Because I don't want to get to start playing a video, then y'all come in. Like, what we talking about? What we doing? What we doing? Come on in, come on in, come on in. All right. All right. It's a learning lesson. All right. Come on in. You already know what it is. You already know what it is. Live, uncut, unedited. This is where we tell the truth and shame the devil. And one thing about the truth, people, you don't have to rehearse it. So we don't have no script. We just going to go accordingly. Tell the truth. We got audio to back up what was said last night. And we're going to start surely. We need about, I say at least about good 60 people on Facebook Live. And we're going to get started. 60 people. At least 60 people before we get started. And so far we have 43. I need at least 50, 60 people to get started. Make sure you share the video. I haven't even shared it yet. So we got our panel. We got our guests that we had on from last night. And also, we're 7 calls now. And you can get on here and talk crazy if you want to. It's going to be a battle tonight, and I'm going to let it ride. I tell you, I'm going to let it ride. So if y'all want to get on here and go crazy, and hey, we got to do what we have to do. This is real. This is life and death. Life and death. We got to talk about this. They said if we keep doing the same thing and expect different results, that's called insanity. So we don't want to be, we don't want that title. We don't want it. So hey, I can't tell you who to vote for, what to vote for, but all I can say is whatever you vote for, you better vote for the right person, for the right choice, for your rights. Don't vote for somebody because they look like just only like you too. Now we got to get folks that's gonna represent the Black community because we've been left out, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight in the audio. You're going to hear for yourself. A lot of races want Black people to push their interests back. They want us to help them out, but we don't get anything. We don't get anything out. So we're going to get ready to start. I'm going to get ready to start. I need to hit somebody else, tell them I'm live, and that'll be it. Doris, anybody want to say anything before we get started real quick? You guys welcome to say something real quick.
We want this to be a learning session.
Okay.
A learning experience.
Okay.
Because we're in a struggle for our lives, in the lives of our children.
Okay. Okay.
This is Danita. I would like for people to understand either you're going to get grace with me or you're going to get grit with Mama Doris and Mark. Either you're going to understand it from the way that I give it with grace, or you're going to get grit with Mama Doris and Mark. And that's just the way we got left.
That's how we roll.
Got 'em back in. Come on. I'm live on Facebook. Come on, Bobby. I'm live. All right. So y'all heard it. Mark, did you want to say anything real quick? Because we got enough people on here to get started. We got 78 people on Facebook Live. All right, where my YouTube family at? YouTube, come on now. All right, we're going to get started with this audio. We're going to get started with the audio. So we're definitely going to get started with this audio. And I might stop it and pause and then let you guys comment. Now, if you guys want me to, like Doris or anyone you guys want me to pause it, say pause it right there, Martin, and I'll pause it and let you guys comment. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, that's cool. We're gonna Okay, so we're gonna do. We're gonna pause it. I'm gonna start. We're trying to see exactly where I'm gonna start at. I don't want to play the whole thing, but okay. Let's see. Let's see.
And always remember the legacy of those ancestors that came before us. And there were many others. I will also remember, of course, a dear friend, Colonel Lewis, the teacher that I'm blessed with being the first.
That ain't where I want to start. I'm gonna start in the middle.
Really telling the truth on your own.
That's the autumn. Y'all want to hear the autumn? Let me play a little bit of him.
During the same period of time, what the serious issues.
No, let's not look. I hate his voice. He can barely speak English.
Okay, all right.
You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
start.
Let's get to the part with Danita.
Okay.
With Danita confronting
Of the suffering of our community
and
to make more money.
Okay.
because it's going back to back all three of us.
Okay.
You can't hear him nowhere, and he can barely speak English.
Okay. All right. Let me start with her first then. Okay.
We all want the same thing. And we all
or start with what that guy who I thought was the pastor was saying that made me feel like, okay, this is enough.
Okay, start now. Y'all gotta listen up. Y'all gotta listen up.
And in the future, I would just like to ask, how many of you went in these other communities and you've been welcomed like this, like we do everybody else? We also have to ask ourselves, how many times can we go to Little Village, Ukrainian Village, and any other church?
Turn it up some, Mark. You can't hear that good.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. We turn it up. I'll start it all over. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. I ain't going perfect. Hold on.
If you move in that manner, you guys will suffer first.
Hold
you
on.
understand that you see that every single day. This is not.
Can y'all hear y'all? Hold on.
I operate on love, but we also gonna operate in truth. Every time we put everything we have on the table for everybody else, we get sold short. Even if it's the biggest.
Is that good?
They go for the whole pie. When it's time to give Black people a piece.
Can you guys hear?
When it comes to holding just our public service, that goes to our churches. Because why is, no offense, you are not my older person, but you are here having a meeting with me as a voter, and I don't see my older person, I don't see my state rep, I don't see my senator, I don't see any of that, but I am the future. I am a tax-paying citizen on the west side of this community, and I've been here my entire life. Thomas Chalmers Elementary, North Lawndale College Prep. I am an advocate in this community. Committed no crimes. I've come back to be the change I need to see. What I do not want us to do is to look for a savior that does not look like us. Because we've taught this country to be and be built from the ground up. There is no way that people that do not look like us have the opportunity to come in our community and convince us we still deserve to be last. Make that make sense, that we are having a conversation about us choosing to still be last.
So I just on that note, the only point we're trying to make is one, the reason they coming is the reason our communities all.
Okay, I'm sorry. Somebody called me. All right, go ahead. Let me hit it again. I'm sorry.
You want to
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
Hey, old timer, you got to hold up. You can put the phone on mute. All right, y'all.
You trying to come here? Okay, then. I hear you.
I had to put him on mute. All right, let me play it again. All right.
And we all are victimized by the same system.
So can
We
I
all
ask
are.
a question of the future?
Put on this stop. Do not disturb.
You know, I love us, and I think as a Black community, we accept everybody. You know, and in the future, I would just like to ask, how many of you went in these other communities and you've been welcomed like this, like we do everybody else? We also have to ask ourselves, how many times can we go to Little Village, Ukrainian Village, and any other church, and any other community, and we be accepted? And we accept everybody. We got Taco Tuesday. We celebrate everything that comes our way. And even when it comes to the housing and the redlining, the people that benefit from migration is never the Black people. True. And this is a fact. This country believed in Frederick Douglass and what he talked about. And one of the things he talked about is mass migration harming the Black community first. I'm a youth, and I'm here to protect the seniors that this room is filled with. If you move in that manner, you guys will suffer first. Do you understand that you see that every single day? And this is not me against them. I operate on love, but we also gonna operate in truth. Every time we put everything we have on the table for everybody else, we get sold short. Even if it's the biggest piece of the pie, they go for the whole pie. When it's time to give Black people a piece, even when it comes to holding just our public servants, that goes to our churches. Because why is, no offense, you are not my older person, but you are here having a meeting with me as a voter, and I don't see my older person, I don't see my state rep, I don't see my senator, I don't see any of that, but I am the future. I am a taxpaying citizen. And I've been here my entire life. Thomas Chalmers Elementary, North Lawndale College Prep. I am an advocate in this community. Committed no crimes. I've come back to be the change I need to see. What I do not want us to do is to look for a savior that does not look like us. Because we've taught this country
That's right.
to be and be built from the ground up. There is no way that people that do not look like us have the opportunity to come in our community and convince us we still deserve to be last. Make that make sense, that we are having a conversation about us choosing to still be last.
So I was just on that note. The only point we're trying to make is one, the reason they coming is the reason our community's always been disenfranchised. Always been this. Before they came here, we were still last. Before they came here, and there wasn't nobody down in City Hall saying, hey, we gotta stop this. We learned to accept it. And that's on us. And we gotta own it. We became conditioned to what we.
Okay. We're gonna stop right. You guys want to comment on that, or we going on right on to Mark? You next, Mark. Out of that.
What was he talking about? We have to own it. What was he talking about?
He was basically asking us to put our priorities on the back burner to make sure Venezuelans, this is the part that triggered me, is that it wasn't just about the Venezuelans, Mama Doris. He threw in Asians and every other community that we should put ourselves on the back burner for. He didn't have an adjustment just for that. This was a segregation for immigration in totality. So we got to look at the bigger picture. Yes, they are searching us with the Venezuelans because that's the test. But when you listen to what he said to us specifically, he brought up multiple cultures that didn't exist about us. We need to share with everybody. And we've been taking it last. We need to continue to take it last. I have no understanding of that.
Okay. That's an insane person. That's a person that has an agenda specifically for himself. You have to be insane. No, I'm not gonna put that on insanity. He's selfish and a greedy nigger. To stand before Black people and tell Black people that you should forget about your suffering, you should forget about all of the resources that they're taking away from you to give to somebody who's come from somewhere, some parts of the world. So you forget about your needs and the needs of your children, your family, your community. You forget about your needs, and you need to think about these people's needs. That nigga should have had a chair thrown in his face or some hot water thrown in his face. How disrespectful. And this is what we have got to stop these people from doing. They do not have any respect for us. And we have got to start showing them, you will not come before us and talk this nonsense. That doesn't pass the make sense test. It is unbelievable. But that's what they've been doing. And that we've allowed it to go on for too long. They devalue us. And we pass it on to our children.
You know what? But let me say this. I just thought that taking Grace for granted was okay. When Mark came in with grit, he understood what respect was. And what I liked the way we did that was that I gave them an opportunity that either you was going to deal with me as Grace, because that's the mannerisms my father raised me on. And I can't go outside that, and Mark is respect me for that. I'm going to tell you what we all feel, and I'm going to give it to you with grace. Or 5 seconds later, you going to get grit, and that's going to feel like SHIT now. And you ain't going to want that. So either you going to take it from me, or you going to get it with grace, or you going to get me to step the hell out the way, and you going to get it with grit from Mark. And that's all I got. And Roderick Wilson was totally disrespectful to bring that meeting over into that community with Byron Lopez. It was totally disrespectful. And this is just another stunt by these thirsty grant recipients. That's all this is about, to make sure he can keep those grants coming into the Hope Center. You know, that's all this about. And they're willing to sell out their whole community just so he can get a grant and pass out some food and hold a press conference downtown. You know, it's despicable. And then he held it with people that was not from the 24th Ward. Majority of those people were not taxpaying people from my community. We got to be transparent about how people operate within our community. They bust those people over there and fed them some good old chicken, fried chicken, that Negroes happy and smelling good to their stomach. So we got to be transparent about how he got them there. That was not our community and representation, because I'm an advocate leader, and Mark was there. That wasn't our leaders in our community. As I walked out into the future, I'm sorry.
These people came from another community?
Yes.
That's what Roderick Wilson always does. He gets us and he brings his whole party with him to make it seem like he has a lot of support. That's what he has always done. I used to be a bus driver, so I know.
Start packing up and getting their bags ready to go, because that's what we're going to continue to do. I will not be uncomfortable in my community. I left because in the room, when I got my message out, I knew who was going to take over, and it was going to be Mark. And what Mark was going to get them, I knew they wasn't going to be ready for. Oh, you thought me leaving was going to be your answer? No, what I'm leaving you with, you're not ready for. And you don't understand that, because we work together as one band, one sound. And either you're going to get the one band with Grace, or you're going to get the one sound with Mark.
All right, let's hear what Mark got to say. Hold on, let me just play it. Come on, I'm finna play the second half, and it's going to be a little longer, but we're going to play it. I'm gonna stop it a little bit.
The reason our community's always been disenfranchised. Always been this. Before they came here, we were still last. Before they came here, and there wasn't nobody down in City Hall saying, hey, we gotta stop this. We learned to accept it. And that's on us. And we gotta own it. We became conditioned to what we gonna do to fight for what we're supposed to have.
Sir,
it ain't them that's taking it from us. That's the point. It's the system that has always, tell me a time when we got when did we get a pie? We never got a pie.
I said they convinced us the pie is there and give us crumbs. I never said we got the pie. You got to listen.
Got it, and we never fought for it.
No, you didn't fight. I'm the future. We're fighting and you're not listening. See, that's the problem.
No.
If the future is telling you something that we see is
I'm
happening
talking about what happened in the past.
Because we got public civic. We have somebody here that's an older person that's not ours. I didn't see him stand up in that room with the city council and say that we came first. I saw our older person do that.
So he's here.
So did we have the conversation with our older person about him being here?
He's here. I invited him because we are talking about.
Because nobody told him to happen. This is our war.
I'm talking. He's here because we're talking about Venezuela, and he's an expert on that. That's why he's here, because. You gotta know why.
90% African.
But all I'm saying is, sister, that's the program that came here. Whether that's the program you were looking for is something different. We came here to talk about what's happening in Venezuela, and that's not what you were looking for. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's not the program. But that's not the program that we came to. And we chose this neighborhood because this brother wanted to have it.
The mentality is
now whether your alderman wants to come is something different. You had something. And is it a question or you making a comment?
First of all,
this Mark.
First off, you in our community. Don't tell me how to ask, how to speak. I got you. Cool. It's no disrespect. Hold it.
We're gonna be respectful.
Bro, I'm being respectful.
But I'm asking.
I'm being respectful. I'm being respectful. I'm being respectful, okay? You're not going to dictate to me in my community, okay? You're not going to dictate to me in my community. She was speaking to you in a very respectful manner. So I'm asking, Okay, could you not speak while I'm speaking? Because I didn't speak while you were speaking.
But you never answered my question.
Okay, so let me speak, right? Let me speak, right? In the heart of North Lawndale, black people, in the heart of North Lawndale, all the vacant abandoned public housing, Pastor, that Chicago Housing Authority has been sitting, let sit, boarded up, those buildings on Independence, on Douglas, on Harding, on Troy. Guess what? Go look at what the name of those buildings on there now. Hispanic housing, okay? It changed from East Lake Management, a black company, to Hispanic housing. Guess what followed that? Alderman, will you tell them about the $50 million that was just put into those houses to house the migrant community? We've been asking, how do we take those same houses and house women and children in our community, right? Carlos Rosa, the same alderman that put his hands on Alderman Mitts, led the charge. Y'all don't have to get up and leave. We're very peaceful. This is about us. This is about us as black people in our black community. She's telling y'all right. Okay? The city is engaging in a plan to wipe us out. The city has a program called the Office of New Americans, right? Right, Alderman? The Office of New Americans, right? It's called the Office of New Americans, y'all. Pass it around. Now, I want to ask the Alderman, when it comes to the Office of New Americans, which is an immigrant-only plan, y'all hear what I just said? It's an immigrant-only plan that was put in place in 2011, long before these people started sleeping outside the police stations. Could y'all just hear me? Because we're not saying get rid of the Office of New Americans. We're saying if you're going to have an Office of New Americans, then there must be an office for black Americans, right? Don't that make sense? Absolutely. Don't that make sense? So we're going to fight because you asked us on the front end of your speech to put our issues on the back burner when you started talking. That's exactly what you said. You said that we're not here, even though we've had these set of problems. That's not what we're here to talk about tonight. I got you. I got you. But as a black, I got you, brother. But I'm not trying to argue with you, okay? I'm not trying to argue with you, okay? So you hold up, Alderman. So to a black man, from black man to black man, in a room full of majority of women, of your mothers and your sisters and your aunties, don't ask us to put our issues on the back burner. Come on, man. I listen to you real clear, okay? I listen to you. You don't even live in this neighborhood, first of all, okay? So now, excuse me, just let me finish what I'm saying. Let me finish what I'm saying, man. You trying to make an argument. I'm not here to argue, okay? I'm putting the facts on the table, sir. I'm putting the issues on the table. So let me can I finish? Can I finish what I'm saying? Okay.
You've already told why we were here. We were talking about the globalization of what's going on.
Your points, one thing, so we don't want disorder. We said that first. Right. To make sure we have respect. Everybody have a right to say what you need to say, but how you respect it and how you receive it. Say what you need to say.
Yes, that's how I'm saying. I really was saying it to the Alderman. I want to ask him, when it comes to the Office of New Americans, which clearly says that immigrant children will make up the next generation of Chicago's workforce. It says 100,000 positions were given to the immigrant population, and that moving further, they would train and attract immigrants to fill these positions. It also said they would remove the red tape so they would open up businesses. The banks would give them loans to buy homes and also to start businesses and to help them start businesses. If we're going to be asked as black people in the black community to stand side by side and fight, because see, Lawndale was initially Lawndale. It became North and South Lawndale because the Hispanics didn't want to be connected to us. So they split us and we became North and South Lawndale, right? So we're saying that if you're going to ask us to stand with your cause. Don't tell us to put our issues on the back burner. You didn't say it, he did. To put our issues on the back burner to take care of a new group of people who's just come into this country. Because we saw this before, Pastor. In California, our people are homeless right now. Because the same type of conversation where we thought that we were all on the team, black people are sleeping under bridges, in garages, or their cars, and the very people, the Hispanics, are sleeping in their homes. In California, I can go to New York, same thing. Go to Florida, same thing. Minneapolis, Minnesota, Washington, D.C., Houston, Texas, and then we talking all immigrants, not just Hispanics. Nigerians are part of this. Hispanics, the Jewish community, they all came together, you all. Please hear me what I'm saying to you all. When you go look up the Chicago New Americans plan, you're not going to see us in that plan. And it's been in place since 2011. 3 mayors have been in full agreement. And this mayor said that he would have a more robust Office of New Americans that would give more resources. And he's showing us that he's doing exactly that. And it's going to end up with our people homeless. And so I end by saying this. Do not ask us to fight on behalf of a group of people who is undermining and supplanting us. Because what you will cause is a major civil war in this city. Do not play with the lies. And you as a black man, I'm not going to say it to him, I'm going to say it to you as a black man. Do not come amongst us and undermine us with no group, because you will be held responsible.
Well, I'm held responsible for everything I say and do. And I stand there. That's one. Now, all this other stuff is fine. I get you. And I never say we should put our stuff aside for nobody else. I never said that. Never said that. So you can't even put that on me. What I said was this program was about today. And I know some people sometimes are paid to kind of disrupt stuff. And I get that. And we have to deal with that. And we've been dealing with that even when it goes against us. So that is what it is. And I ain't. You want to be fine?
Let me just, because it's very important that we have, like I said at the beginning, for us to have real dialogue, we must be honest with what we're coming from. I will answer very respectfully on some mischaracterization.
This the Alderman talking.
Let's talk about the $53 million allocation, right? One, that was not an allocation that the current mayor, that's something we inherited, number one. Number two is that if you look at the $53 million that it was just to respond to what's thrown at us, let's really look at what actually was committed in 2019. 2 developers, $2.3 billion with a B, $2.3 billion for 20,000 units that they're supposed to have built. How many have they built so far? Can you answer me that?
I don't work for CHA.
Zero, right? So again, these are the agendas trying to distract us from the real issues. Yes, there's money, and it's not going to any of us. That's what I mentioned. The $300 million for supposedly they was said that every immigrant received $7,000. That's a fabrication. What we had was what? A polluted lot to put people there, right? And now they're retracting. So I want to talk about the facts. The fact, and I mentioned, yes, there is a plan, a master plan that has displaced black residents. But it's not that Latinos are not in the menu. And we're talking about that because we'll be fooled to think that. This is a plan, just like in California, what's happening in California. We have a proposal in March, the Prince Chicago Hall, to generate $100 or $150 million for a modest transfer, not even a tax, a transfer tax, meaning if developers or people who have $1 million plus properties will pay a modest interest on the transfer when they sell that. The realtors are fighting us over that. Yeah. Why? Because none of us are going to see those resources. No. So again, those are initiatives that will benefit all of us. But what is it? They're trying to make us think that we own $1 million homes. Yeah. Okay, so I just want to bring us back to the issues. Follow the money. How does the TIF money has been used in the city of Chicago? as a piggy bank account of all these interests. I know what I've been standing on, and I'm standing because I not only represent Pilsen, I represent all of them. That's why we took the fight. I'll be the first one to call previous mayor accountable for what she was doing to our black neighbors. And you know what we're doing that? Because we understood, and that's what we started with Fred Hampton and Mayor Washington. We understand our survival in the city as intertwined and connected. I, as a paramount, understand that. If we don't do that, we all lose the right to the city. So I take your point. I'm not telling you what is before what. What I do can promise you that the issues that we differ in front of us requires all to understand where the money is going so that we can really hold these people accountable. This Office of New Americans, I don't think that we can say that the people's administration care about our black and brown kids. When you close 50 schools, close health clinics, look at the property taxes.
This mayor don't either.
Now, that's what I'm here. I'm here to speak.
They all the same.
On all of us, I said we need collective power. What I want to make sure is that I inform you of the agendas of distraction versus the agendas of construction of a new future that must involve all of us. I'm not saying who is coming first. What I'm telling you is that if we build this together, we have a much better chance because I tried to describe the monster that we have in front of us.
That's right. How do we both win? Both communities win. He just said.
Listen up. Listen, people, listen to this. We're going to cut it off.
How do we have both communities win? What is our strategy for black and brown folks to win in this city, to recapture it, to make it? Because it was black people that built this city, right? Black people that came up here, Great Migration, and we built it, right? Before that, right? We built this city. And so how do we get it back? What are our strategies to win?
And I think part of it for us, we got to know what we need and what we want. Then we got to hold those accountable. Because all this stuff that's been going on, all this time, that's the point I keep raising. It's been going on, and we've been sleeping at the wheel all this time. And so, but hold on, because we got people voting on our behalf all the time.
Yeah.
And are they voting in our interest? They're supposed to represent us. So if we ain't holding them accountable, if we're not looking at what we can do for us, then we're going to keep losing. And then we can work with the Latino community. We got to get ours in order.
Yeah.
We do got to get ours in order. And it's been a black caucus for I don't know how long. And how they been working. It was a black alderman that supported the 25 acres going to the billionaire. It was a black mayor that did that. And you talk about East Lake slumlords. You talking about them? Slumlords.
Hispanic housing too, all of
He's a
them.
black owner.
Hispanic housing, he's like slumlords. Don't talk about the black one, don't mention the Mexican one. They both are slumlords.
We gotta expect quality, not just a black face. They gotta give
Both companies are slumlords. Both companies are
That's
slumlords.
why I know about
Oh,
East
okay,
Lake,
okay.
because I get all the complaints.
I know about both of them.
So, but when you say them, say that the slumlord black
Okay.
company East Lake, and that's what they are. But we can't say, oh, it's a black company went to Latino, and they not even up to the
Okay,
standard
Pastor
we
want to ask you a
supposed
question.
to represent.
Pastor want to ask you a question.
But back to your question, sister, and then we go to you. Anybody else want to answer a question? I got you. Anybody else want to answer a question? I got you. Let me facilitate.
But look, what I would say just briefly, and I know we got like 2 more questions, but this is the dialogue that we need. Look, as tough as it is, we must.
Listen.
Exactly.
Right? That's, and I'm not going to go away. Right? No matter how difficult the conversation is, we must have it. And I tell you, look, I'm a father of 3. Look, I went against a Latino candidate for mayor because I understood that if we had a mayor who only cares on one side, the rest of us would be in trouble.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Now, I'm putting my hopes that the mayor that we elected with 80% of the black vote, because I got to say the wisdom is real, and I recognize that. Latinos barely, right? Barely. So to build a real dialogue, we definitely got to hold all these companies accountable, and that's why we need changes in leadership in CHA. We talked about this. Yeah. We got to talk about changes in HUD. We got to talk about in city government, county government, all of it.
That's right.
And that change doesn't happen without us.
That's right.
So that's what they're, look, I'm here, not only as an alderman, but someone who's seen the effect. I was a teacher before this. I couldn't even vote before 2013. But I saw what they were doing to my community.
But that's right.
And I came, the first place that I door knocked to ask for help was in Alba oppose a Barbara Jean Wright and George Collins. Why? Because they were facing the same threats that we were facing. Right. And I couldn't go to any other community to say, someone said, you know what? That's not a conspiracy. That is very real. And we're fortunate that we saved one of Barbara Jean Wright. That was a hot development. Was almost in the hands of a developer. I will be very candid with you. Some of the organizers that were helping me almost went to jail because the developer was willing to go that far. They accused me of buying books. They literally tried to put me in jail. Why? Because we were concerned about that development going to private hands. There was another development, just a few streets, 500 luxury units. The unity between both communities now have 500 units.
All right, we're gonna hold it right there. We're gonna hold it right there. Okay. All right, guys, go ahead. You guys can talk and start commenting on this. Doris, Mark, Erica, Danita, go ahead. I know it's a lot.
I thank God that I'm not an old damn fool. I thank God.
I love you, Mama Doris.
I am not an old damn fool. We're the only people who will let other people come before us and talk all that nonsense when it's very obvious that wetback Hispanic is there pushing his own agenda. And I hear women in the background. That's right. You don't even know what the hell he's doing. And that's how they get over on us. That's the same thing the white boys did and still do. The white boys have done it for 400 years or more. And now we're beginning to listen to some wetback niggas do the same thing the white boys did. And we're sitting there. That's right. That's right. I thank God I'm not an old damn fool. We are pathetic. These
what, Mama Doris,
to me are just pathetic and disgraceful to me.
Mark changed. I think a lot of people. I'm gonna say this: half of the room, you're right, was pathetic, and I don't disrespect my elders regardless. I give that to you and Mark. And I love it because you get to do what my age and grace doesn't allow me to do right now. And when I get to that space, then I'll make sure I groom the next generation the same. And I love you for that. And 1,000%, you are absolutely right. But if it was not for Mark, I think for me, the most important part people need to understand about people like you and Mark, Mama Doris, you get on here, you give your energy, you give your time, you give your voice all the time. You are 70 years old. Mark, 50 plus years old. It is time for you to stop saying the same damn thing that I have been hearing you and Mark exercise for generations to come, and they need to be behind our plan, or we're going to leave them like Harriet did. And that's the conversation moving forward, and that's how I feel. Either you're going to be aligned and be one band and one sound, and deal with grace, or you're going to deal with grit and you're going to get my people like Mama Doris and Mark. Mark saved me because if it was just me, and I want the world to understand that if it was just me giving that grace that all y'all keep pushing for us to continue to have without anything else, nobody would have respected me. But they needed to understand that either they were going to get this version of us or they were going to get the Mark and Mama Doris version of us, and they didn't want that. And you see the difference and how they respected both of us. I'm a respected woman, but he kind of shuffled me off with my grace. And I want our community to understand that when I'm in rooms like this and I'm moving like this, it's always like this. But if I don't have that balance of Mama Doris, Mr. Martin's perspective from the media, and Mark to have my back as a Black man to lead me, I don't care what room I go into. Mark leads me as the man of my community. And I am strong and I get it all on my own. And people who hear my name and notice me who talking, know I move on the strength of myself. But I move knowing that my real strength is in the power of Black men. And if you're not moving like Mark as Black men in our community to protect the grace of Black women, then you're going to get Mama Doris produced times a million. Because I'm going to be Mama Doris if y'all don't protect me. Do you understand that?
And I think our community needs to understand that you are so passionate and you are in this the way with that passion that you have is because nobody is freaking listening. We are not organizing and we are not one band, one sound. That means leave your economics. That means leave what you identify as the door and you come in with this black plan for the advancement of our community. Well, I'm not with it with the new generation because that's not what we operate for. That's not what I learned under Mark. That's not what I'm learning under Mama Doris. And that's what I'm getting from all of this. And that's the fire under me as the future that follows behind Mama Doris and that follows behind Mark with the grace that I have. This is passion right now on the phone with me. You heard me talking to them with grace. This is passion because we don't have anything left. And I'm the future and I'm telling you we don't have nothing left. I'm sorry, y'all, for my passion. I apologize.
No. Don't you apologize for your passion. You are doing what is right. You are being guided by a force that's much bigger and higher than any of us. You don't apologize for that passion. You're supposed to have that passion when you see people are doing something that is detrimental to your people. You're supposed to have it. And that's why, to me, those women, old women who did not get it, they are a disgrace because they know better. They've seen it. They've heard it. They've been a part of it. I've seen all this. I've been a part of it. And I'd be damned if I will listen to anyone. Anyone who is not speaking the truth and standing up for Black people, I will not listen to you. I will take your damn head off with my words.
Mama Doris. And you know what? I think people need to know intergenerationally, I listen to you and I follow you with grace. And people need to understand that what you give us is all facts. And people may not, people have a problem with our delivery, but we like rap lyrics. We love our favorite artists, but when our people come to us and it's in raw form, we can't take it that way. And I may be giving you the grace form, but I love what Mark and Mama Doris gives to me because what that gives me is the tenacity to continue to move with grace and the way that I need. Because if you get beyond me, then you deserve everything you get from my people. I want people to understand that if they get beyond me talking with love, then they deserve everything behind me. And I'm not standing up from that. I'm not running away from that. I'm the grace to get you away from what's behind me. Either you're going to accept us with grace or you're going to get us with grace. And I mean that because we are one band, one sound. And that is it. And that is across the nation. That is the only way we need to know how to move. And we need to take our leaders and we need to build them up. And we need to shut up and stop being personalized in our self-interest because it's not about self-interest in this movement. It is about the greater good for the advancement of indigenous African people to the Americas. And that's exactly what we are, the Black people that are indigenous to this land. And until we decide to understand what our place is, we get mad when that statement is made to us, but we don't even know what it means. Do you know your place in this world as people, indigenous people to this land? Knowing your place is knowing that you are aboriginal to every culture, every divine being, everything that people create on this surface is because of what we've given them. And yet we ask for a reason to be who we already told them we are. We birthed this nation. And yet we are begging for crumbs. I'm sorry, y'all.
No, you don't have to be sorry.
I get a little frustrated, but we need to make sure we organize and get this plan together behind what you have for this plan for the new Americas. You've committed to 60 days straight of educating us. People need to hop on and learn this education.
Hello?
I am 30, 40 years younger. I'm listening to these women and men of generations before me. And I'm not taking it lying down. And I know it's a lot of people that feel the same way I feel. You need to hear it from me. I'm not taking it lying down.
Mm-hmm. All right. Who is this 5859? Who are you?
Hello?
Yeah, who are you?
Oh, my name is Chewy.
Chewy, okay. What is it you want to say, Chewy? Go ahead.
Hey, I love all of you. Hey, I'm one of your biggest fans. I've always watched your videos, watch you when you're live. Mama Dos, I love where your passion comes from, but as a Latino Hispanic person, take it down a notch because not all Hispanics. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
Mama Doris. Let him hear him out. Hear him out, Mama Doris, and I'll let you
I
talk.
don't want to hear her out or him out. I do not want to hear one thing he has to say. It doesn't have anything to do with him or her. This is about black people. Get the hell off this call.
Well, Mama Doris, I'm on
Do
your
not
side.
call me Mama Doris. You don't have that honor.
Okay, Mrs. Doris, I'm on your side.
Anything. Get off the phone. You don't tell me what to take down. How dare you? Go home and tell your mama and your daddy, your grandmother and your granddaddy to take it down. You don't tell me anything.
Okay. Well, I just want to let you know, as a person who's Hispanic, and
I don't give a damn who you are. Hispanic is not a race. It's a language.
Latino.
You're Latino. Are you Caucasoid, Negroid, or Mongoloid? Which one do you fit into? Those are the different races of people. Caucasoid, Mongoloid, or Negroid. Now, which one do you fit into? So don't play these games with me because I know your damn history.
Okay. I just want to let you know that that person who was speaking in the video, who was an alderman, doesn't speak for all Latinos or Hispanics.
I don't give a damn about any of you. I don't have time to differentiate between any of you. You're not that important to me. I'm only concerned about my people. And I know you all are some damn vultures who follow the white man.
Well, all I want to say here tonight is, where were those resources when we seen black and brown people who are homeless?
There's no such thing black and brown. There's no such concept as black and brown. So don't even bring that to me. Oh, this political bullshit.
Next part to the topic, Mama Doris.
It's deep on here tonight.
And she needed
it's deep on here tonight.
the heckler. Next topic, please. Could we be something more productive? Is there something you'd like to figure out that's more productive for us?
Okay, he's gone. He or she's gone.
Good.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I didn't know who the person was, people. They called in and asked, So,
that's okay.
Okay.
That's okay. I told you I will take their heads off with words. Next person standing up with your bullshit.
Oh, okay.
Everybody wants to beat up on black people, well, people of color, black and black. No damn such thing. These people are trying to take from us everything that we have given the world. Nobody wants to acknowledge black people. But I will make you acknowledge them, or you will get your ass off this line.
Sister Doris,
what
everybody needs to understand, and especially black people, and for all the people that would want to call up there and say, we're going too hard or we need to tone it down, understand this, because we already understand it. Self-preservation is the first law of nature. Self-preservation. And that is why we're here. That is why we're sounding the alarm, because we're concerned about the preservation of Black lives, the preservation of our communities, the preservation of our children's future. So don't get it twisted. It doesn't have anything to do with anyone else. It's about our preservation of ourselves, period.
Mark, I think you should go a little bit more into that document. You know how I done fell in love with those 52 pages of hell, but they can be even for us. I think people understanding that indulging in those documents and being more educated, how we diverse around this country with this program, and understanding that when people spew, this is a great example. We got to take this, what Martin was able to record today, as an example of what people are doing on a multi-level, like this is a version of what people are doing in every single room. So if they're doing this on the west side of Chicago, they used to say the tone of the world is set for Black people from the west, from North Lawndale. And right now they're trying to make an example of it, but we're not going to let them. So if we're not going to let them, then the example means nobody else should let them. Any meeting they have should be interrupted. They should be uncomfortable. And just like they were packing up sooner than they wanted to get their chicken to go, they didn't want to stay there. But we also got to understand, like Harriet said, and like Mama Dora said, we can't save everybody. So if you know you can't save them, then you need to chuck it as a side, and we need to move forward with our power, because us continuing to be on here and being mad, that's cool. But I continue to say this, as the next generation, get on that 7 p.m. call for the next 60 days and help us plan it out. Because doing all of this means nothing. Having Mama Doris, having Mark, having Martin, and having Miss Natasha, I'm learning everybody's name, because I'm new to this as far as like conjoining with people outside of me. But until we uplift all of these platforms, this is our one media, this is one of our major media coverages that gives our perspective out. There's no way your cousin, too many of us pay bills for our family members for them not to be on board for what we doing. If I'm taking care of you, then you gonna post this. Then you gonna share this. Then everybody you know, because we know this what happens when the free turkeys get handed out. We need to have the same mechanism when our education and uplifting the women and men that are on this call, that are the generation that are fought for people like me, because I don't believe in the torch, because you got to wait for it to burn out. Mama Doris know my belief. I believe in passing the baton. So now it's time to pass the baton. Now we got to be up for the job. Are we up for the job is the question. Because we got Mama Doris, we got Mark, we got them on the call, and they're here to mentor us. Who's up for the next level? Because this don't stop with just them. This is forever for our community.
You know, when these people come on, the minute they say something, you know, God created us in such a way that you will know something is wrong when a person says something that is wrong. You will immediately know it. And you must shut these people down. I grew up in a state, I think I was 12 or 13 years old when Emmett Till was killed here in Mississippi. I grew up in a state where they lynched Black men if they just looked in the direction of a white woman. Lynched them, cut their penis off, and then stuck it in their mouth.
Hello.
Yeah, hold on, people. Hold on, callers.
So don't call me telling me to take anything down. I've lived it. I've seen it. I've experienced it. And to be almost 80 years old and see my people in the condition that they're in now, that is very hurtful and disturbing to me.
Okay, good. You guys, listen. The new caller, just hold on. We'll get to you. Put your phone on mute and listen. We'll get to you. Just put your phone on mute. We'll get to you. Okay, go ahead.
Hey, cousin.
Yeah, I didn't even. Okay, go ahead. You might go ahead, cuz. Go ahead. What's your comment?
Good evening, everybody. Again, cousin, I'm super proud of you for just making people aware of what is going on. I currently no longer reside in Illinois. I live in Georgia, not in Atlanta, but within close proximity. I want to say a few things. The older woman that's on the line, she did make something. She just made a comment that makes a lot of sense to me. Here recently, I've been watching a lot of movies and films about African American history and our contributions. And now here it is. Emmett Till was killed when she was a little girl. She's 80 years old. My father lived to be 90 something years old. Here it is today in 2024. We are still fighting for our place in this country. And I will say this, being an African American woman who raised two sons in a Black community who never were involved in gangs and both went to college, because I set a precedence in the community. Don't touch my children. I will bust out everybody's car windows, gangs and all. So it seems to be this misconception of this power that people who are not for the neighborhood seem to be running the neighborhood. It's just like the good people in the communities need to take back control of the community. And we need to kind of listen and heed to the knowledge and the wisdom of the adult, or the people, or what's the word, of people who are over us, our elders, right? And why aren't we learning? It's like we're constantly doing the same thing, expecting different results, right? It's, to me, we are so far beyond a place and time where we should still be buying name brand gym shoes. We got to get to a point where y'all are buying nothing if it ain't a Black label on it. You cannot continue to support all things that are going on in this world and in this country that do not benefit you. Have any of you all recently seen the documentary about the Black family that's in North Carolina that are fighting to keep their own land? Their brothers went to jail because they were considered to be trespassing on their own land. They kept them locked up 8 years for trespassing. This abuse and this misrepresentation of Blacks in political arenas is so long overdue. God bless my cousin. It takes someone like my cousin who's passionate about the community to be a representative of the people in the community. Like, where are these aldermen coming from? It's so a lot of things we have to look at it and be accountable for, one, not being a participant or knowing or understanding what's going on in the community. I'm guilty of it. I've been young and lived in Chicago. I've been partying and lived in Chicago. But see, I was able, because for me, when I lived in those communities, I knew without a doubt my kids don't get out this neighborhood. My kids gonna go and travel the world, which they have. But see, the thing about it is, that's how a lot of people who are thinking and wanting the best for their children were thinking that way. We're not trying to partner with the people who's hanging on the corner. But it has gotten to a place where we're all the same. We all need to be joining hands and trying to communicate and understand this from a collective perspective of how and why and what's going on and where it's going to lead you and leave you. That's another reason why I got out of Chicago. And I love Georgia. You come here, I've never seen anything like it. Black people flourishing. They ran Black people out of the South because they wanted their land. They wanted their land. Those that stayed have been able to make something of themselves. But again, I've said enough. I do employ and encourage you all to definitely start thinking about how you move. Because I want to talk to you later, because I want to talk to you about starting something different, private. Look, we all on Facebook. It is not making anybody rich. There's always a catch to them keeping you tied into their mess and them making you think that you gaining or benefiting from it. When at the end of the day, Mark Zuckerberg is being rich. He's getting rich. Yes, people getting money for points and this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, when the stock market comes in, you ain't got no investment in Facebook. He do. He making the big money. Black people even need to figure out a way to do that. Separate.
Thank you, cuz.
All you had to do was buy some Facebook stock. That's all you had to do.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I keep saying I'm not gonna stay on Facebook because, listen, as much like I literally saw a quote unquote Christian, and I don't mean this. I hope I'm not offending anybody when I say that. I'm not saying I'm not a Christian. I'm just saying this person is quote unquote a Christian. She posted the other day that they said that you could not put up the 23rd song on Facebook. And I thought, so you're going to keep your page? Like people say they'll die for Jesus, but she ain't going to delete that Facebook page from them. So it's like, we got to take a stand. We have to take a stand.
You know what? We have to, like our ancestors did.
Yeah.
None of this is new. We have to learn, even with Facebook, you have to learn how to use it for your advantage. That was the beauty and the genius of our ancestors.
Yes, the drum.
No one
they always figured out a way around it.
And that's what we have to do. We have to continue to do it.
Cause let me take this.
But then
let me take this next call.
Okay, cause I'm gonna go. I ran my mouth too much.
I know.
I love y'all.
All right, thank you. 7404. Hey, caller, you're live on Uncut, Unedited. Go ahead. Caller, go ahead.
Hello, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? I just wanted to put my input in this, right? Because I've been around for a long time, man. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to say, man, we had the help. We had the help out here, just like what the immigrants are getting. We had the help. Ain't nobody wanted that help. Nobody wanted that help.
What help you talking about, brother? What help you talking about, brother?
I'm talking about what's going on today in this world, what y'all talking about.
What? Tell me.
They were giving us that help. How many?
How old are you, brother? How old are you, brother?
I'm 36.
Okay. Have you ever read any books?
I'm 36, and it was a time that I remember, man, that they was trying to put out.
And I know you lying. I'm 38, and I'm the woman on the call, and I know you lying. I don't even know with me, so I'm gonna let Mark handle you, but I know that's a lie.
Hey, listen to me. So look, I'm 36, right? And it came a time where they gave us the help. All the black men.
Brother, hold it. Somebody want to speak. Go ahead, Mark.
See, here's how we have to deal with this. Break down the help that you're talking about. Let's hear you break it down. The help that you say that we had, that we didn't want. Now, are you speaking for your generation? Are you speaking for your generation?
So well, I could probably be talking about my generation, but I remember there was a time where they were trying to help us black men get out the streets, find us jobs, and this and that, and none of them wanted it. They wanted to stay in the streets, sell drugs, and do what they do in Chicago. And I don't give no fuck who's on this line listening to me. I know what's going on. They was trying to handle the help.
What's going on either way.
Hold on 1 minute, Janita.
Hold on. Let Mark handle it.
And so now the immigrants are coming down.
Hey, bro.
Now the immigrants are coming down.
Hold on 1 minute.
Young man, hold it for a minute. We're gonna let you talk, young man. Hold
it. Let's hear. Matter of fact, break down NAFTA for me.
You said what?
Break down NAFTA. What is NAFTA? The North American Trade Agreement.
Right.
Break it down. You don't know. Okay, now.
No. Yep.
The North American Trade Agreement was where in the 90s, long before you were old enough, or in some cases before you were born, there was a plan drafted and structured to make sure that not only we didn't get jobs, but your generation didn't get jobs. It was where they sent all of the corporations in the 90s out of the country so that black people didn't get jobs and opportunities. Then I'm just keeping it short and straight to the point. Then I want you to break down welfare reform for me. You can't break it down, okay? See, you've been trained to beat up on yourself. You've been trained to find something wrong with yourself, but you don't know half of shit that you're talking about. And so when you come amongst teachers, you sit your student ass down there in your chair so you can learn something, all right? So when welfare reform came about, welfare reform was where they pushed women and children off public aid and some of them became homeless. But when they became homeless, and see, what we're not going to do is take the opportunity to find ways to beat up on ourselves unless we understand what social engineering is. Break down social engineering to me, brother. You can't. Okay? So when you come in as a young 35, 36-year-old man, because I'm going to call you a man, because you are a man, but you're not a well-taught man. You're not a well-educated man. You don't have enough information to speak on what you think that you're speaking on. And see, those of us that been around, we can give you a lot of information. And once you receive this information, you will know long before you were old enough. The plan was to lock you up. The plan was to lock us up because we were those children that they charged as adults at 13 years old. And we can name names from Carol Mosley Braun to Rahm Emanuel to Bill Clinton and everybody else that played, Paula Wolf, that played a role in this. The plan for mass incarceration. The gangster rap labels that were owned by the same people who own the damn
prisons,
the Correctional Corporation of America, the private prison system. So the plan was to lock you up and lock you out and then make you think it was something wrong with you only. Yes, you held accountable for your actions, but who's responsible for the direction that your life went in? Social engineers. Those who were supposed to do the right thing, that stole the money. So what we're doing is reversing the effects of that by beginning to come out and educate young brothers like yourself. You and Danita around the same age group. She knows what she knows because she came amongst those that came before her. And she listened long enough and she studied long enough to be able to speak. And until you do that right there, man, it is in your best interest to be quiet so you don't make an ass out of yourself. 90% of what's happening to you, 95% are structured, are socially engineered to make sure it happens. You only responsible for maybe 5% of the shit that you involved in. You ain't old enough to know your asshole from a hole in the ground. You old enough. Let me take that back. You ain't informed enough to know your asshole from a hole in the ground. And so you get around some older people that are willing to give you the information before you start speaking the way you speak. Your enemy is way bigger than yourself, your peers, your people.
Yeah, the enemy's trying to catch up to me. Shit, he can't. Got too much money. But what I'm trying to say is,
watch this right here. Watch this. Watch this. Let me show you something about the drill culture. And see, Big Dirk, Lil Dirk Daddy grew up with us. Big Dirk.
Okay.
In the 90s, when we were little young guys in our teens. See, by the time we were 19, in some cases, by the time we were 18 and 17 and 16, they had already targeted us to give us 50 and 100 years. And some of the people just coming home, some of them still haven't come home. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you something about the drill culture. Everybody's pointing out the artists, but nobody's talking about who the executives of those labels, who own those labels that promote your music. You see? See, that started back in 89, 90 when they had that meeting where they would flip the hip hop genre over into the gangster rap labels and the gangster rap music that spiraled our people into massively killing one another. And we had already dealt with that in the 60s and 70s when there was no social media. And then we went right into it in the late 80s, the early 90s. 92, 93, our people were dying. You remember, Martin?
I remember.
There were 800 to 1,000 murders.
Yeah,
800 to 1,000 murders happening within those years.
That. Yeah.
From the late 80s to the early 90s. Every single year, 800 to 1,000 murders. I'm saying all this to say to you that the drill culture is backed by the same people that bought those gangster rap labels under Vivendi Universal, and the same people who bought and started those private prisons to lock our people up across the country. And so, before you speak, get your facts straight. Stop beating up on yourself. Who taught you to hate yourself like that? The way you come right in saying some negative shit about yourself. Do you know anything about the system? Are you looking to learn anything about the system? Or did you hear some old ignorant ass fool teaching you that there's something wrong with you, and then you came to here spouting that shit off to some people 50 and 60, 70, and 80 years old? You don't come amongst somebody that are of our age speaking the way you're speaking. You don't know enough.
Hey,
Hey, brother, can I ask you a quick question?
That's fine. That's fine. But look, let me speak real quick. Look,
I just want to ask you a question.
Today is
brother. I just want to ask
today
you.
Is my world. Look, today my world. You probably old enough, and it was back in your days, right? But today is my world, right?
It's still my day.
I'm 2 years older than you, and I don't
still my day.
Keep using that excuse.
No. He don't understand.
Okay. Hold it, y'all. We're gonna hold it, everybody. We're gonna hear the young man out because he did respect everybody and listen. Whether we agree with him or not, we're gonna hear him out. Okay, 7404. You got the floor. Okay, say what you have to say. Even if we don't agree with you, we're going to hear you. Go ahead.
All right, listen to me, man. Look, I'm 36, man, and I remember a time, it don't have to be in y'all time or whatever, but I remember a time where they were speaking about getting us help, man. Getting us out the streets, getting us help, man. Getting our families out, helping us. Now, I might be a Hispanic, but I'm a black Hispanic, you hear me? And I don't care, man. And now I hear all this nonsense, right? But it was a time where they were trying to hand us out. And now these Hispanics come over here, whatever y'all want to call them. And now they need the help. And even the black people are giving them help. I know I work at a shelter right now where it's none but blacks. And I'm the translator, bro. And I work there. These black folks trying to help these people get home, man. And I work there. I'm the translator. I'm doing everything for them. I'm speaking for them. Come on, man. And now you guys talking about
the black Hispanic. See, I thought you was black, because I don't waste no time on no goddamn Spaniards, no Mexicans, none of that.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Because we got.
What do you mean by you're a black Hispanic?
It don't matter. Y'all could be racist all y'all want. You hear me? Y'all could be racist all y'all want.
Mark, let him talk. Let him talk.
But we don't have the power and economical access to be racist like you guys have been given free access to. So let's talk about that. When you talk
about
you
mean free access to y'all, y'all don't get the
Hey, Mark,
okay. Hold on, people. Hold it. I'll put him on mute. Hold on. We're going to go to the next caller, 630. Come on, 630.
Yeah. Hey, Martin, let me say this before we get to the next person.
Go ahead.
Look. Chicago is carved up the way it is for a reason. Because at the core of us, we don't like each other. That's why you got the Irish in Bridgeport. You got the Chinese in Chinatown. You got the Greeks in Greektown. Daley's father understood the need to separate and segregate our people into and designate our people to certain areas. Because we play this game as if we're on the same team under this black and brown, this people of color, this minority. No. That is not true. And that's why Daley's daddy operated and he carved this city up this way, because he knew at the core that every group would take care of its own group. And that's the way it's going to remain. So him coming in talking about he's a black Hispanic, I was trying to ask him, but that's a waste of time.
Okay.
Nobody's on the team with us. When you read the Office of New Americans, and I want everybody that's listening to me right now, when you read the Office of New Americans document, the Chicago New Americans plan, every single ethnic group has gotten together that are immigrants, and they're planning on replacing you. Even those that's over in Brighton Park fighting to keep those Venezuelans from coming in, those same people are on their own page. Integration don't work. And if you believe integration works, Then you take your ass up to New York and see what that melting pot stuff got black folks up there, which is pushed out. They breeded them out and they pushed them out. They had children with black Americans so they could stay on this soil, so that they can eventually take over New York. And so I'm not listening to nobody trying to convince me that all of a sudden we all done got together. When I'm reading a plan from 2011 that only includes all immigrant groups. And not one of those immigrant groups, including these so-called black Hispanics that he just said that he was a part of. Not one of those groups said, wait a minute, how are we going to have an immigrant-only plan that's not inclusive of black Americans, the very people that fought and built this country to the point that we're able to come here? Don't you ever forget your goddamn place when it comes to black people in this country.
Right.
Black Americans built this goddamn country. Not no black Hispanics, not no goddamn Mexicans, not no goddamn, no other group. Our people built this goddamn country. And before you start speaking amongst us, goddamn it, you say thank you, or don't you speak at all. I thought you were black. Or I wouldn't have wasted a damn minute on your ass.
And don't you ever tell our matriarch how she needs to stand in the meeting that she makes happen. As a woman, I know my place with men, but you are not a black man. I'm going to tell you now, God's still working on me. God's still working on me. But I'm going to tell you this right now. As a black man, I know my place. And when Mark talks, I shut up. But when somebody else that don't look like that right now, God is still working on me because I'm not perfect. I'm still one of the disciples because I'm coming over Jesus, and whatever you believe in, I'm still swinging. Because I understand that what they put in front of me is a facade. And what you're not going to do is speak for a generation that I rep. You are a liar. I work with you. I work with Mama Doris. I work with Martin. I work with all of y'all. This is not what you're going to portray for our community, and the strength of it because black men led us and they will continue to lead us to prosperity. And that is in any religious belief or whatever background you have. The strength of our community is building up the black man and also being just as strong as black women and them understanding that we are warriors too. And the only community that took me like that has been my own. No other man will ever compromise a black woman before me. And I'm sorry, Mama Doris, that he felt like he can question you, but not in front of me, he won't.
Okay. You know what? These black people who live in Latin America, Central America, South America, they are allowing the word Hispanic. That just means it's an area of the world where people speak Spanish. Spanish is a language. He said he's black, but he's confused because he speaks Spanish. You are still black, young man. There's so much racism in Central, South America. Black people in those countries catch hell. Black people in Venezuela catch hell. In Colombia, in Mexico, they catch hell because they are black.
Yes, ma'am.
That's why they catch hell. But they all speak the language Spanish. And this is where the Mexicans who were colonized by Spain, it was Vicente Guerrero who helped to free Mexico from Spain. This was a black man. But you don't know that history. The indigenous people of those countries are black people. You go back to their great-grandmother. Those were black people, but they don't own them because they want to be white. The Mexicans in Chicago identify themselves as white. The Puerto Ricans identify themselves as white.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So you have to understand the history. You don't know your history, young man. You come from a mighty people who gave the world civilization. It was the Moors who civilized Spain. You're talking about people who were savages. who came out of the caves of Europe. It was the indigenous people of the world who gave these people civilization. Get Ivan Van Sertima's book that came before Columbus. Start reading. Educate yourself. That's why these people can run these games on us, because we don't know the history. That's why that little devil who came on and told me to take it down. No, I'm going to take it up so I can run your ass off the line. I know your history. You want to be like this white boy who's a savage, who has colonized the world, who goes around the world taking everybody's resources. We understand what's going on in Venezuela, but that is not Black Americans' problem. We didn't create them. So you get on that white boy. But you're not coming to Chicago. And that coon that we have who calls himself a mayor, who's following the directives of Joe Biden, that immoral devil, because the Democratic Party is trying to keep the votes going for them, because the Black man and the Black woman of America is waking up and saying, we will no longer support a party that does not give us any tangible. You give all the money to Israel, billions and billions of dollars. Ukraine, billions and billions of dollars. Wherever they want to give money, they give them money. But when it comes to Black people, you want to give us a sign. You want to name a street for us. Symbols without substance. So young man, please go someplace and read. Read. You have access to these phones. You can find anything you need to know or want to know on these phones. And while I'm talking about these phones, that's why the United States and Russia and China are just at a war with each other to try to take over the continent of Africa, because that's where all of those resources, all the bauxite and all the minerals that they need to make these phones. And that's why you have people like Julius Malema in South Africa rising up. Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso, who said to France, you will not take any more of our resources out of this country. There are young people who are rising up, and they're saying to white people, no more will you take our resources. Read about those young men, young man. Ibrahim Traore is in his 32 or 33 years old. Julius Malema the same way, same age. Read, study the history, and you won't come out like an angry madman. You came out of the door like an angry madman, beating up on yourself and thinking you're going to beat up on Black people. Not tonight. Not on my watch. We are in a fight for our survival around the world. And my position is this: if Black men, women, and children don't eat, don't have a place to live, cannot take care of themselves, I don't give a damn if anybody else does. I don't care. I am Black first, B1, all the way. You know what? I didn't come from the streets. I had to learn the streets to deal with crazy people. So young man, go and study. Calm yourself down. You come from a mighty people from around the world. That's all I have to say to him.
We're going to go to the next caller. 630. Go ahead, caller. 630.
Hey, Martin.
What's up,
Hey,
Bill?
everybody.
How you doing?
Good evening.
I've been listening, and what people ain't understanding at this point with people that's on board and eyes are open, there's no room at all for opposition. Not at all. We the only race of people that they try to say racist for sticking up for our own selves and people that look like us. We the only race. And this fight is bigger than what most of the people, the opposition, black people that's cooning or whatever you want to call it, these aldermen, these pastors, they think our eyes are still closed and that they can run game like they was trying to do at that meeting. Throw a few words out, discourage you, and think they can move on. That's not what's happening here. And as far as what Mama Dora said, it's about learning your history. I mean, even it's factual. Number one, ain't nobody worked in this country for free but us. Nobody. We established the first economy through cotton, and then they added liquor. But what a lot of these, like that young man, and a lot of these old fools ain't realizing that we are disenfranchised. All of what we going through has been designed. Take for example, Mama Dora said she had to learn the street. I learned the street from being in the street. And that's what these people are going to have to face because they don't understand nothing else. But being in the street, the young man said they tried to help us and everybody wanted to stand on the corner and sell drugs. But where did they get the drugs from? They was put here intentionally. And Latinos had access to it, and they weren't even selling drugs in their own neighborhood. They got hooked because every time they devise a plan for us, for our demise, it failed and hit them in the face. That's why Wall Street had cokeheads and crackheads also. They didn't think that was going to happen. So all of this stuff has been pushed on us for many years, and now we see what it is. And there's no room for opposition. And Mark was doing him a favor, trying to lead him, and I get it. That's the only way that you might be able to get some of these people to see what it is that has to be done. But this game has been fixed for many, many years. It's nothing that America has did. They throw a few little trinkets to make it look good. There's resources that was put in the black neighborhood that people didn't even know about. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You know when I say I had to learn the streets, what I mean by that, the cursing. I had to learn the street. I learned how to do that so I can deal with these crazy people of ours. And what keeps my sanity is history, my books. I go back to my books. I read Dr. John Henry Clark. I read Chancellor Williams. I read Ivan Van Sertima. I read these books. They help me keep my sanity because I understand what we're dealing with. And if you don't understand the history, believe me, you can lose your mind. And a lot of our people have just lost their mind. And, another thing with us as Black people, we want to see our people do well. So that's how Brandon Johnson got in. We want to see our people do well. So the older people voted for him. But he has deceived them tremendously. I know many elders who are just hurt. He has deceived them. And what he has done is beyond, I cannot forgive him. It's unforgivable what he is doing. Because what he is doing will destroy us. And we must rise up. Anytime you hear these people talking this nonsense, take their head off. Don't listen to it.
One thing for sure, you can't back down because you'll still be getting what you've been getting.
That's right.
With these politicians.
That's right.
Because at this point, they don't understand nothing but us not turning the cheek and accepting. You got to stand firm. You got to let them know where you stand and that you will fight.
Take them to the street.
They exactly, Mama Doris. The only thing they understand, their biggest fear is a black man that can think on his own, and they know we are fearless. And we need a lot of these young people to jump on board, because at this point in Chicago, that's who they're scared of.
Mm-hmm.
That's who they scared of. They ain't scared of that old nigga from last night. I'm a Democrat. They ain't scared of him. They got him. They scared of the ones that's leaving out of their neighborhood and going up north and wherever they going in the rest of the country and making moves and wreaking havoc. I hate that it happened because they can be doing something more constructive, but that's who they scared of. And once you get these young people realize that their enemy ain't the next game, ain't the Stones or the Vice Lords, and they find out that they enemy or they foe, as they call it, is them, it's a wrap.
What everyone fears, what every race of people fear, is the black man. They fear you. Even if you are just one who stands up, they fear you. Why do you think they go after black men the way they do? They fear black men. Mark is one of the smartest young men I have ever met. He's strategic. Mark reminds me of a panther or a lion or a tiger when he senses danger. I can see it in his eyes. It's amazing. It's just wonderful to just look at him when he's in a room and people are talking. His eyes are going in all different directions, and you can hear him thinking. And you know when he speaks, you know how it's going to come out. He has a beauty when it comes to delivering information and delivering facts. It's just it's a wonderful sight. It's a wonderful experience. And I am so glad that he is reaching back to these young people. No matter 89, forget, like he said last night, forget those people. We need warriors. That's why they keep doing what they're doing to our young people. It is to destroy them so that they will not be another Mark or whomever who stands up for black people. And because of Mark, I can relax. I can relax. Like Anita said, you can relax around him. I don't have to say anything when I'm around Mark. I know he has it. He's got it. That's the kind of man we need in our communities. That's the kind of man every woman needs.
You know he ain't gonna let nobody walk through one of them rooms
That's
and
right.
push you either.
And sister, when you get a man like that, stand back. We all have a role to play. I am not intimidated by strong men. So we need marks. We've got to make more marks. And most of our young people are doing well. The media presents it as if black men and women, young black men and women are doing nothing. That is not true. Most of them are doing well. Most of the people who are on drugs are white folks. Those are the FBI statistics, not mine. But the media, when you talk about drugs, the first thing people think about are black folks. That's not true. That's why you got to research, you got to read. You can't just listen to this media and listen to all this filth that these Jews, these Zionist Jews are financing. Call gold in my ear, bitch, and see what happens to you. Call a Jew woman a bitch and see what happens to you. But they make this music and pay our young people millions and millions of dollars to call us bitches and hoes. And because we're so thirsty for money, we will do anything. Look at how these young black women are dressing in these videos. Our little girls are seeing this. I just saw a video the other day of a young woman. She's a ballet teacher. She's trying to teach little black girls ballet. She tells them to sit down in their spot. They tell her, you don't tell me what to do. You're not my mom. The mother comes up. She's telling the mother about how the child is behaving. And the mother's response, well, if she didn't want to sit down, then you should have left her alone. That's kind of nonsense. We've got to turn this around. Black women have got to regain your dignity. Regain your spot of prominence, grace, and dignity. This is where you come from. We have got to turn it around. And we can. And we have to fight anyone who is against us. I don't care if they're black child. Because black folks, these black ministers and black politicians are our enemies now. They are my enemy. Benny Thompson from Jackson, Mississippi, went to school with him. He is my enemy now. You come to Chicago and support Lori Lightfoot in that immigration mess. He is my enemy. We've got to stop being impressed with people's black folks' titles. The first this, the first. I don't ever want to see a first nigga no more in life. Because you have hurt us. You have let us down. You stand on the shoulders of black men and women who survived chattel slavery. And you up there, all these black politicians we have up there in Washington, D.C., and every last one of them are voting for legislations that are in opposition to us.
Yes, they are.
So we're going to run people on the Republican Party. Any kind of party we can run people on to be successful, we will do it. Either you vote for them or you don't.
Can I ask you to that, Sister Doris? I want to add, not only are they voting for things that will destroy the black community, they are refusing to introduce any type of legislation that would help their people. I'm gonna give you good examples. Jonathan Jackson, although he just got there, he's falling in line with the rest of the idiots. Danny Davis, Benny Thompson. The only thing that you see them doing is co-sponsoring on to Hispanic initiatives. They are not introducing anything that could help black people. Danny Davis been there all that time. Why hasn't he introduced a resolution for reparations? Why haven't the Black Caucus did this? Why is it that we have to start on a local level and put pressure on the city so the city can put pressure on the government? You know what I mean? And it's just climbing up. And which it gets stuck and stop going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? They are in these positions. They're there with the president. They sit in Congress. They have the power to bring this into fruition, and they are refusing. They're flat out refusing. Okay? And so I wanted to say another thing about this repetitive statement that we always hear. Black and brown coalition. Listen, if we really had a black and brown coalition, the Hispanic cartel, the Mexican cartel, would not be flooding Black communities right now with fentanyl. We are losing our people left and right to fentanyl. And I just want to say this too so people can understand. It's not only people that's getting high that's being killed by this fentanyl. They're putting fentanyl inside of money. They'll drop it on the ground. You'll see $1 or $5 or $20 on the ground. It has fentanyl wrapped up in it. As soon as you pick it up and it touch your hand, you would never spend that money. You will never spend that money. So I'm letting you all know, be aware and beware that they're setting traps for us in our community. A few weeks ago in a senior building, they found 3 people in an apartment, a 70-year-old woman, like a 40-something-year-old man, and a 30-something-year-old woman. All of them dead. It wasn't a murder. And they never came back to say what was the cause. All of us know that it's fentanyl, but we don't know how they got the fentanyl. You see? And if you all can remember, when Prince died, they said that he had a massive amount of fentanyl in his system. And they showed video of him being at the pharmacy picking up some pills. And they said that those pills were loaded with fentanyl. How did fentanyl get in some pills that he went to the pharmacy to pick up? If that's the narrative they gonna stand, but I'm just saying this because if you all think that it's really a black and brown coalition, if you really think that these people don't want us out the way, it's something wrong with you. They ran Black people out of California. They firebombed their homes. They shot them. They murdered them. And they're going to do the same thing here. We're just in the first phases of it. And that is why Sister Doris and I, y'all know us. When we come out swinging, and we're not letting up. We're not letting up, and we bankroll these initiatives and these fights we go out in. We come out our own pockets, and we do this. So we take this stuff serious. Yeah, y'all get on the phone and y'all, make fun and complain and whine and tell us we should do it this way, we should do it that way. You should join us. Okay? We're a movement by ourselves, but if we had other people to join us, we would be a force. So think about that. Think about that. Join us, and we could be more powerful. Thank you.
I want to say something real quick. And I'm going to pose this to Doris, to Nita, all of you guys. Mark, why is it that you don't hear politicians say anything about Black people as far as getting money, finance, or anything? They never say the word Black. They never. It's like that's a golden rule in politics not to use the word Black. Why? Why? Somebody explain that to me.
Because there's some sellout niggas.
Okay.
They don't care about Black people anymore. They're lining their pockets. Danny Davis probably has 4 or 5 pensions. So who
they have to, right, and they have to push an illusion. Like I just said, this repetitive statement, black and brown. They never just say black. They say black and brown. And Martin, if you remember when we held our mayoral forum and I got up there and did the introduction, we stated, this is what Sister Doris and I, we agreed on. We will not be using these words, these titles that they put on us to try and water us down and belittle us. No minority, no people of color. We're not talking about no Hispanic issue, no black and brown. This is all about black people. You know what I'm saying? And the politicians that attended it, they honored that. So, you know, it's crazy. And can I say this one more thing about this fentanyl? Over the summer, my initiative over the summer was to teach young people how to perform CPR. So we would go around the city, you know, and just pop up in parks and, you know, on the corner, you know, just pop up and teach people how to do CPR, how to perform CPR. And so when I was out there, you know, I just noticed how, you know, you see our people out there, they nodding and leaning and, you know, and some of them ODing, things like that. So I reached out to my alderman's office, Alderman Yancey, and I asked his assistant, Miss Daryl Gray, if they could help me to get a supply of Narcan. So when I'm out there teaching them how to do CPR, I can distribute the Narcan at the same time. You know, they didn't give me any assistance. They just started pointing me this way and pointing me that way and, you know, things like that. So what I started to do was go to the library, because at the library, they give it out. You know, they'll have it at the door and you could just reach in the little box and get it. So when I would go to the library, I would get some. But after I was denied, you know, help with getting the fentanyl, the Narcan to prevent the fentanyl overdoses, I seen over the summer at Lollapalooza, do you know how many people come to Lollapalooza? It's a lot of them. Mm-hmm. Do you know they had Narcan on standby there, and they gave it out to all the people that entered there because they said they always get people that OD at Lollapalooza. They gave it out to all of those people. You understand? Mm. So my thing is, these politicians, you don't even hear them saying anything about this fentanyl crisis that's going on in our community. They're keeping it under wraps. The police aren't saying anything about it. The superintendent, the mayor, the governor, none of them. They only start talking about stuff like this when it started affecting white people. And for white people, they even train their children how to use the EpiPen. They gave it to them in the schools. Nobody did that for us when we had this whole heroin epidemic in our community. People was coming home finding their parents home, you know, with a needle in their arm. They didn't know what to do. We didn't receive any training in school for that. But like I said, once again, it's these black politicians that will not advocate for their own people. All they're doing is signing off on things to help other than self. And it's time out for it. It's over. Y'all got to understand, we are coming for y'all. We are going to remove and replace you. Period.
You know, Martin, they don't do it because we don't demand it.
Okay.
We don't demand anything from these politicians. And so they have, for the last 25 or 30 years, they become immune to doing anything for us because they know we're going to come right back and put them right back in. And when you look at the number of votes that they're getting, 2,000, 3,000 votes, they're not getting a lot of votes because most of us are just not voting. But whether you vote or not, these policies that they sit down there in city council and sign off on, they're going to impact you. They're down there signing off $150 million additional dollars for the illegal economic immigrants. $40 million a month that Black politicians are approving because we are not demanding anything. And when you don't demand anything from people, then they won't give you anything. Just common sense. We do not demand, we don't value ourselves. When you put value on yourself, you do not allow people to do any and everything to you. So we've got to start valuing ourselves so we can pass it on to the children. These little children don't value themselves because we don't teach them to value themselves. We don't. Look at all the killings in our communities. The Black community has embraced hell about that. Well, girl, you know that's how it is. No, that is not how it is. That is not how it's supposed to be. That is not normal. We have normalized insanity. That's not normal. So we've got to take back our communities. We've got to agitate, mobilize, organize, agitate, mobilize, organize, and we can do it. But we got to stop complaining and get up and do it. Get up and do it for the children. And if you won't do it for the children, then we can just hang it up, I guess. So that's why they don't do anything.
Yeah, because you never hear them say the word Black. And I heard one politician, well, you can't say that because of it. You might lose the white vote. You know, it's just, oh my God.
Well, what about let them know you're going to lose the black vote? But we don't value our vote. We don't value anything about us.
Well, when
Brandon Johnson could not have gotten in without the black vote.
No.
That's the value of the black vote. But they disrespect us because we allow it. I don't allow anyone or anything to disrespect me. If I sense that you're about to disrespect me, oh, hell, you better watch out. You're not going to do that to me. And that's how we have to think about ourselves. That's how we have to think about our communities. We are a powerful people. I remember years ago, Martin, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, who wrote this book, The ISIS Papers, The Keys to the Color, on racism and white supremacy. And she gave a simple answer to something. She said, you can defeat racism and white supremacy just by picking up the paper in your community. Because that says that you value yourself. It was so simple. We have got to just get our dignity back. This integration and all this garbage music, all this stuff that we're buying into and we're allowing our children to listen to, it has and it is destroying us. We know what to do.
All right.
So we are about teaching. That's what we are. We're about teaching about this new Americans plan for immigrants. We're not mentioning no slaves in the doggone plan. And the thing I think about are the children. Our children are not even thought of. We can't allow them to do that to us. Who the hell do they think they are?
You're right, Sister Doris, because I have not heard no one Spanish person or Mexican descent, Latino, have stood up and said anything against that plan. They didn't have no black people mention that at all.
Because it's going to benefit them. And then you got that little broken Spanish Negro, whatever he is, running off at the mouth at that church. Please give me a break. You check those people. I don't want to organize with you to get a piece of bread. Give me my own bread. I don't want to share my bread with you. Go get your bread. We raise these crops that you get the bread from. You haven't contributed to anything, so why should I give you my bread? Why should I share my bread with you? Because what you're going to ultimately do is take my bread. This is a power thing.
We've let them, Sister Doris. We've let city council get away with so many things against us when they voted to close all them schools, and I mean we just forgave them and we just forget, and don't be in the media anymore. Well, we move on. And, it's a lot of us.
That's why.
Go ahead, sister.
That's why the communities don't have any people in them anymore. When Rahm Emanuel knew what he was doing to implement this New Americans plan, the plan for New Americans, you had to get rid of some people. How do you get rid of families? You close the schools. People are going to find a place for their children to go to school. That's what happened. It was strategically done. And those Negroes down there in that city council didn't say one word.
Down there,
so what did they do?
Down there laughing, and white people tell them, you're not like the rest of them. I mean, that's what it is when they tell them things like that. But at the end of the day,
Mark Robinson, this little pompous punk, this little pompous, arrogant punk, don't know his ass on a hole in the wall. He's so arrogant and pompous, and he's one of them coon preachers. Oh my God!
Well, whew. All right. Anybody else? Danita? Anybody? Mark? We're gonna close it out. We're approaching that 2-hour mark. 1 hour and 56 minutes. Anybody else want to say anything before we close out?
I wanted to hear Mama Doris out. I mean, I wanted to hear the things she said tonight. I mean,
we heard
plenty of time.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah. No, I'm saying I wanted to hear her.
Okay.
And give a chance to our people, our younger people, to hear from the generation that they've never heard from. Yeah, that's what's missing in a lot of cases with our people. Martin, they weren't old enough, or they aren't old enough to know our grandparents, right?
Right.
Our grandparents speak a whole nother tune than our mothers, who are the young people's grandparents. So she comes on that last back end of that silent generation that was never silent. No, they're the ones that made the strides. They opened up everything for us.
Right.
I come from a generation where, the children were not thrown away. The community raised us. They reached back. We were kids who went astray. That's just human nature. But they reached back and they got them and they said to them, we're not going to do this. I'm going to tell your mama. I'm going to tell your daddy. Oh, no, I'm your mama today. Integration came about and we lost our minds. We literally lost our minds. Because we could go into a white store, a white neighborhood, and then we started looking down on those who didn't get a college degree. Well, it's not everybody to go to get a college degree. Who's going to pick up the garbage if everybody gets a college degree? Who's going to sweep the streets? Who's going to do the cleaning? There's a role for everyone. But what we fail to understand, I don't care how many degrees you had or how much money. To white folks, you were a nigger. And when I was coming up, a nigger was someone who didn't have a poor character, didn't have any integrity. It didn't have anything to do with your race. If you could be white or whatever. That's what I was taught a nigger is or was. It has a different connotation now. But we have lost our way. And if we don't try to find our way back to where we came from, we will not survive this. Because every race and ethnic group in the world is against Black people. All of them. So there's a Mexican in that church talking all that nonsense. Boy, you're trying to take stuff away from us. You don't care about Black folks. And then you got that coon in there who should have been tarred and feathered. We have got to stop these people. Stop them. I don't care how young or how old. Say, that's not going to go on. Stop talking about each other publicly the way we do. You know, like the band from last night. I mean, just negative. But that's how we've been conditioned to think about one another so we can destroy one another. That's by design, like I said. If you don't understand the history, you will repeat all of these same mistakes over and over and over again. That's how I go to my sanity. I go to my book.
Thank you.
I go to my book.
Hold it right there. Somebody just mysteriously called in. I'm going to see who this is. 6847. Who are you?
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Good. What's your concern?
Hey, just to cap it off tonight, man, that Leonardo DiCaprio movie about the Flower Mound where they were murdering the Native Americans down in Oklahoma or whatever back in the day. It happened during the massacre of the Black Wall Street too, and they mentioned that. They showed the newsreel in that movie, and it's a lot of parallels with the Native Americans and what we're dealing with. But I just wanted to say this one thing here. Norman Lear passed away. He was 101. Was behind a lot of great shows, but people in Chicago should know that the creator of Good Times, the creator of the Jeffersons, the writer of Cooley High. What else did he do? Eric Monty, What's Happening? All came from this one brother from right here in Chicago. His name's Eric Monty. And he never got his check for all that work he did, especially like with Good Times. And, that's just a little footnote with Norman Lear. And, I never wanted to dog out the dead. But man, you think about it, this man lived to be 101. And he gets like $200 million in royalties every year. And he couldn't get right with our Chicago brother, Eric Monty. So that's all I kind of wanted to say. And it's like two other iconic voices from Chicago that never got their due. The other one being your friend of mine, DJ Casper. It's hard to watch the NBA and all of a sudden you still hear Casper. Everybody clap your hands. And, he never got his due, nor did Joe Cobb, the voice of Soul Train, and all three of those brothers walk the same streets we did. Hey, Martin, I love what you're doing. Let me get out your way.
Okay. Thank you, brother.
Martin, let me just say something about the Native Americans.
Okay, go ahead.
They were black Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we mention Native Americans, we've got to talk about black Native Americans as well. Because most of the time we're talking about these $5 white Indians. So they're black Native Americans. Black people are indigenous to the earth. But I always talk about the Native Americans. What about the Black Native Americans? What about how they were treated? Some of these so-called white Indians enslaved some of the Black Native Americans. So, hey, when we talk about Native Americans, talk about the Black ones.
Well, I don't think it'll hurt you to watch the movie.
Oh, no. I'm not saying that I won't watch the movie. I'm just saying let's talk about our Black Native Americans too, my brother. I'm not saying I won't watch the movie.
Well, people, I think, more of them have more in common with us than the ones that don't.
What you have in common, my brother, if you go back and look at the earliest pictures of Native Americans, the earliest pictures that you can find that's on record, they all look like my great-grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
They all look, and then they took pictures of the first free slaves or whatever, first generation. They look identical to them, the facial, the bone structure, the color. It was black and white, but they are one of the same.
All right, people.
See, it's by design that they deliberately leave us out of everything.
Mm-hmm.
We are the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. They don't want us to, if our children knew this history, we wouldn't have these children doing what they're doing, but we have failed. Because just because they don't teach them in the school, you can go get some books and teach them. They're out there. It's by design that they leave us out of everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Martin, thank you so much.
Right.
And we have to do more of this. We have to teach.
Yeah.
I'm a teacher by profession.
Okay.
We have to teach.
All right.
We have to teach.
All right, people. We're going to end it right here. You already know what it is. I appreciate all my wonderful guests. Thank you guys so much. Thank those that came in the messenger. Thank the callers that called in. Thank those that stayed on the panel with me tonight. And I thought I wanted to bring part 2 because yesterday was so good. It was good information. You know, every now and then we have a little drama on here, but it takes that. We have to check one another because all of us is not we all stand in correction. I would say that. All right. You already know what it is.
Good night,
Live, uncut,
so
no problem, unedited. Tell the truth. And what? And shame the devil. I don't know about you, but I love being black. That's it. I love being black. I love being black. All right, people. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out.